Hello, welcome to Palace to the Core podcast and YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this on YouTube, please do so at Palace to the Core. Otherwise, you can catch me on the podcast app, whichever app you listen to podcasts on. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Crystal Palace versus Newcastle game, and there was a little bit of uncertainty, I think, from me as to how we were going to do in this game. A lot of fans were saying we were going to thrash them 3-4-0, 5-0, something like that. And I didn't really comment on any of those posts because we could well have done. We're playing well enough, I think, to beat a team like that at some point. But it just seems at the moment that we're not quite there yet. And you'll see, if you haven't seen the game and you don't want to hear what happened, then, as I've said before, go and watch it and then come back and listen to what my thoughts are on the game itself. So, the lineup was practically unchanged from the previous game. Gaeta in goal, Ward, Anderson, Mitchell and Gehi up the back, MacArthur, Milojevic, Gallagher in the middle, and Benteke, Edouard and Olacy starts the game. He started his first game for Crystal Palace, first full game, although he didn't play the whole game, but he certainly started his first game for us, and that was certainly something a lot of people have been wanting to see him start his game today. So he did. And we were playing a Newcastle team who haven't played very well at all this season. And Steve Bruce recently left the club, so there was an interim manager there, which can sometimes be a bad thing for a club coming to face him for that first time after they lose a manager, because they want to play, they want to prove themselves in the team. They're looking to play well enough to attract another manager to either take them to another club or to show the manager that's coming in, or any potential manager that's coming in, they're worth keeping. So it can be a difficult spell when you are another club meeting a club that's not in that situation. And I think that's probably kind of what happened here on this particular day. We started off, as we tend to do, quite well. It was quite bright, and as we have done this season many times, we were dominating various parts of the game. First half, we seemed to have a good flow to us. Lacey was getting involved. Edouard, who some people think shouldn't be playing that wide, but of course as a striker, if you're having three at the front, the two wide strikers are going to play a little bit wider than you might want them to. But they were linking up well, and there was some good link-up play going on. It was one of those games where you just think, if everything clicks, everything works out, then we're going to have a really, really good game here. But it just didn't go for us again. And in the first half, we had a number of chances, as we often do in these games, and Newcastle looked like they were trying to provide a solid unit. They were working hard. They were stopping a lot of the chances that we were trying to create. They were trying to keep us pushed back. It wasn't necessarily the best game for them, but I think it's probably a better game than they've had previously this season. So, you've got to give credit to Newcastle for what they tried to achieve today, which was basically just damage limitation. And so they were quite defensive, but they did also try to get forward. And the first half kind of ebbed and flowed a bit like that, really. Benteke had a great chance in the first half, where he hit he hit that upright with a shot, which was a fantastic shot, and he hit the upright. That was really just disappointing for him, because I think a couple of years ago, or should I say at Liverpool, he probably would have knocked that in the back of the net. So he's scored goals like that before, so it was a bit of a shame that he couldn't put that away. And it was similar to previous games that we've had. We were knocking on the door, but we just weren't providing that final killer ball to get the goals that we needed. But around 56 minutes, we did get a goal, and that was Christian Benteke again with one of his trademark headers. And it was great to see, because he really did work really hard in that game. I think he had probably one of the best games for a long time. He seems to be building in confidence all the time, that he's got the energy, he's got the ability. He's certainly got the ability to score goals, and he seems to be building in confidence, which is what, as a striker, is what you need. So yeah, he hit the header from very close range, bottom right hand corner, and it was a great assist by Terry Mitchell with a fantastic cross in for us to make it 1-0. And it was going along quite easily. We were by that time we were into the second half. It was on 56 minutes, and we were playing really well. I thought that we had a great idea of what we were trying to achieve. I think that we were solid as we have been before. Again, a couple of mistakes drifted in the second half, but as in the first half as well, we were making a couple of silly mistakes. We were losing the ball easily at times, or giving the ball away, or the passes weren't quite there. They might be a little bit short, or perhaps slightly in the wrong position. But hopefully these are things that will come. And outstanding players again. Conor Gallagher was another fantastic player. He played really well, as he has done for us all season so far. And I think having Lacey up front did give us a bit more of an attacking option. He was very good at receiving the ball. He played the ball well. He was trying to get in and create chances and score goals himself. So it's a positive start for him, being at the club and being his first proper start for the team. And then around 67 minutes, Lacey went off, and it became Zaha came on. So it was kind of like for like in a way. Although obviously Zaha has a lot more Premiership experience, and he got on the ball early. He started to produce things. He seemed to be in good form after his recent illness, and he was starting to link up well. Didn't necessarily change how well we were playing. It just gave us another option, another outlet for our team. And then around 73 minutes, Luca went off. He was replaced by Jeffrey Schlupp. And for me, Schlupp is a good player, but he's not quite up to speed this season. He hasn't quite found his form this season, which is a bit of a shame. But he did play. He played okay. He didn't play too bad. And then around 86 minutes, Mateta came on for Conor Gallagher, which was a bit of a shock, I think, at that point. But then it's 86 minutes, and you think to yourself, well, we've got a good opportunity to get another goal, and I think that we tried really hard to get another goal in the second half. But of course, before that happened, Newcastle scored their equaliser. It wasn't a last minute thing this time. It was scored on the 65th minute by Callum Wilson. It was a good goal. I mean, it's a goal that they were looking to create for a little while. They created a couple of chances along similar lines to this one. It wasn't. I don't think it was necessarily a goal that we should have conceded, but at the same time, we are at the moment conceding goals like this, goals that perhaps we shouldn't be conceding. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that situation. I think it's just a case we need to build up a bit more of a relationship between each others and between the players and things like that. So I think we worked quite well in that sense. But yeah, we conceded that second goal. We conceded that goal, which made it 1-1. And at that point, you're thinking to yourself, I don't really feel that we're going to score any more goals. Although we did try. Benteke hit the bar. And it was, we had another couple of other chances which we should really have been tucking away, and it just remains to be seen what's going to happen in this situation, because are we going to be able to tuck the ball away more often? Are we going to be able to score these goals that we're creating chances for? Because there's going to come a time, at the moment, the games we've got coming up at the moment, we've got Manchester City to come up next, which is going to be a very tough game for us, and hopefully we'll be able to give them a game and we'll be able to at least hold our own. But the problem is, at the moment we are creating a number of chances, we're just not putting them away. My concern is if we stop creating chances, if we go through a bit of a bad spell where we're not creating chances, not winning games. We've drawn quite a few of our last games, and I know we're still unbeaten away, still unbeaten at home, which is a fantastic result for us, and we've had an amazing start to the season, which is one of our best ever, which is fantastic. But even though Newcastle are a team that's in transition and they just lost their manager, I believe personally we should have beaten Newcastle, and that's my only concern, is that we're doing well drawing with the bigger teams. Of course that's going fantastic, but if we can't start beating the teams near us or below us, that's when the issue could be a bit of a problem. Hopefully that won't happen. With the Lacey settling in and having more time on the ball and more time in the Premier League, I'm hoping that he will be able to gel with some of the others going forward. I mean, who do we have up front? That's another question that we've got to be looking at. Who do we have starting and playing up front regularly? You know, we've got a number of options. We've got AU, of course, who a lot of people aren't really keen on. We've got Zaha, we've got Mateta, we've got Benteke, we've got Edouard, we've got Alesi. You know, we've got a lot of forward players, and it depends on what our final setup is going to be. If there is going to be a final setup, it could be that Vieira will just change them around from match to match and have a different combination until he finds one that works. But when Mateta came on, he was okay, but he hasn't really had a lot of game time, so I'm not entirely surprised that he didn't play that well. But he tried. But who do you put up front? Who do you have? I mean, Benteke, I think, is hitting a bit of form. He's certainly building in confidence. I think he's got to keep playing. Edouard, again, impressed for me, played well. Alesi did well considering that he hasn't had a lot of game time. Zaha, of course, is one of the players that you kind of think about putting on the score sheet, although he wasn't on the score. He wasn't on the team list from the beginning, which is very different from previous seasons when he would have been the first name on the sheet. I'm just wondering where we're going to get these. We need to be a bit more direct, a bit more eager, I should say. Have a bit more passion about getting the ball in the back of the net. Yes, but there were times, especially towards the end of the game, when we were still passing the ball backwards and forwards at the back and trying to build up play that way. At that time in the game, when we're 1-1, we should have just been launching long balls, trying to get on the end of them, trying to get a goal. But it's that way that we're playing, which is fantastic. We're playing really well, but we need to be able to adapt it to different situations. If we're not scoring goals, we need to maybe take a different approach. So it's being able to adapt to different teams and different situations that I think is going to be key for us. But we are doing well. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your reviews. You can let me know if you're watching this on YouTube. You can let me know in the comments below. If you're listening to this on podcast, then whatever app you're on, if you can comment or review, please do so. I'd love to get that. It really does help. And that's it. Onwards to the next game against Manchester City. Thank you for joining me. I really hope you had a good day if you went to the game yourself. And CYP.